Welcome to the Callisto Grand Big Change podcast. This is season 4, where we are focusing on women in credit. It is my pleasure to introduce you today to Aneta from Kieboom, who is the O2C Global Process Owner Director at Coty Inclusive. Welcome, Aneta. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I will dive right into it. Could you please tell me a little bit about your background?
Yes, sure. So, maybe firstly about my last name, right? Because lots of people are confused about my last name, and they're asking if I'm Dutch, I'm Polish, what's happening, right? So just to clarify that I'm 100% Polish. It's my husband who is Dutch. We live in Poland, right? We have 2 dogs and a cat. So that's the personal background. About the professional background. So I'm working in finance for more than 10 years. Before that, I was a teacher. So I have graduated years back as a teacher. It was my first university, but then after 1 year, I decided that I want to change something, right? And this is how I started my journey in finance. And after 10 years, here I am.
And was it a conscious decision to work towards finance after you left the profession of teaching?
It's a very interesting story because at school I was always good with mathematics and languages, right? This was my biggest strength, and I always wanted to be a teacher, right? But then when it actually happened, I was like, after a year, I was like hitting the wall because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to meet more people. I wanted to work more in the international environment. And then, in Poland, it was 10 years ago, there was really like a booming outsourcing and shared services. So companies were really looking forward for people who just know languages, right? And this is how it started. So I just apply and I said, why not to try, right? So this is how I ended up. And I started my career as a credit controller, right? I can tell you that in the beginning, I was terrified. I was just terrified. I didn't know what is happening. So, the first 2 months were really tough for me because, for me, it was something completely new, right? I had to talk to the customers. I had to collect the cash in foreign language, right?
Yeah.
So it was something really, I will never forget that period. But, time after time, with the support of my leaders, with the support of also of my family, I was improving myself. I was reaching the next step of a career, and and that's the background.
And what is it that you enjoy most about your current profession?
I'm the lucky one that I really like my job. Right, and I'm so lucky that I have chosen the path I have chosen, right? Because I really like working with the people. It really gives me a satisfaction to work with the people from the international environment, to also learn about the cultures, right? Because every culture has different has differences, right? And it's really interesting for me. And I also like to feel that I'm changing the world, right? So at the end of the week, I'm just thinking, what did I achieve this week? Am I proud, or maybe I should push forward certain things? And this really gives me a satisfaction at my profession.
And speaking of proudness, what is your proudest professional achievement?
So, years back, it was before Coty, I was asked to join one of the very difficult projects, right? Where there were challenges with the client, there were challenges with the team, operational team, because operational team was not really working. They were really not empowered. There was lots of attrition. And what I'm really proud of is that, in 6 months, together together with the help of my team leads and managers, we were able to turn it around, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we were working really hard together. I was also working on coaching my team leads, and we have changed the situation. So we have improved the operations, we have empowered the team, so attrition has also dropped significantly. And the most important was for me that my team felt empowered, right?
Mm-hmm.
They felt engaged, and they felt that they are part of a community. So this is something I'm really proud about, because I really like to see how people are growing.
It's wonderful to see. And being a senior leader must have an effect on your work-life balance. And how can you manage that?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And just being absolutely honest, this was the problem in the last few years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really like your job, you forget about the work-life balance, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you treat your job as a passion, but this affects your family, right? So you need to really find a balance. And I'm still working on it, right? But I can say that I'm now happy that I achieved the work-life balance. And how do I do that? I try to take a break during the day, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
really block my diary, and I try to even have a walk or ride a bike, or just do something outside of work,
Mm-hmm.
just to have this break during the day. Sometimes it's not possible, but I just have blocked time in my diary to just disconnect and have a think, right? The other thing is that after hours, I'm also having my passions, right? So I'm growing plants and my home. I'm also very interested in home design. So this is also
Mm-hmm.
what is taking quite a lot of my time. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm also meditating, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
is something what is giving me this work-life balance and disconnection from work, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to come to work with a fresh mind, fresh ideas.
Then does that mean that your go-to blowing off steam kind of method is meditation?
Yes, absolutely spot on. That's one of the methodologies that I use, and I can really recommend it because it really helps, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also depends what day you have, right? Sometimes I just need to meditate, but sometimes I just need to take a bike and have like a 30 kilometers nice ride, right?
Yeah.
So it all depends on the day. It all depends on the emotions you are dealing with. But what I always try to do is that if something happens at work that I'm not happy about, or there's lots of emotions, I try to not react immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very important just to step back for a moment, have a think about it. The emotions will cool down. You need to just really blow the steam off, as you said, and then the next day or a few hours later, you can come up with a fresh mind and a fresh perspective.
And how do you keep yourself and your team motivated?
As I said, I really like working with the people, and my team. I try to make sure that my team is really empowered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have really smart people in my team. I always used to say that they are much smarter than I am, because I'm so lucky to have them. And what is really important for me to keep myself and them motivated is that we are having a very open relationship, very
Mm-hmm.
transparent, open relationship, and we are working as partners. Of course, I'm responsible for giving the vision, for giving the direction, for helping them, but we are really talking as partners to make sure that we are discussing all of the topics, and everybody feels motivated because people feel empowered and
Mm-hmm.
engaged in the decisions we are making. On the other hand, we are also keeping like a personal relationship, so we also know what is happening in people's life, because my team is located all over the world. So I have people in Poland, I have people in Switzerland and in Malaysia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have different cultures, and we really enjoy also talking about private life, what we are
Mm-hmm.
doing, or even what's the weather, right? That's also
Mm-hmm.
interesting to discuss. So this is how we are keeping ourselves motivated.
It's really, really good to establish that kind of connection. It really builds trust within the team. So I admire that idea. And did you ever feel underestimated or threatened by any of your male colleagues?
Not recently, but I became a manager and a team lead when I was really young, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then some people might not really take you seriously, right? So yes, this was the case in the past when I was still young, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because some people were thinking like, who is this girl talking to us, right? And what I did and what is my advice, because I'm still quite young, right? And I'm on the director's level. So my advice and how I have overcome it is that, results are always proving who you are, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just need to take a break, you need to let it go, right? And you just need to do your job, right? If you are going to prove that you have the qualities, if you are going to prove that you know what you are doing and you are delivering what is required, people change the perception about you, right? And this is always something I do follow since then, and it always helps me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really focusing on what people think about me, that I'm a woman, I'm young or whatever. I don't do that. So I always focus on the results and building the relationship, and over
Mm-hmm.
the time, people will know what your worth is.
Mm-hmm. It's really nice. And do you think that there is a competition between the female and male leaders?
I honestly speaking, I've seen it in the past. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there might be some competition, but I think now over the years the situation in the world is changing, right? Because now really companies are putting lots of effort for the for the culture differences, for empowering women. So this is something what I can see in the recent years have really changed.
Yes, diversity and inclusion has been a very
Exactly.
hot topic in the past 3, 4 years. So, absolutely. Do you feel empowered at your current company?
Yes, absolutely. I do feel empowered. So I'm really lucky one to have the leadership who's supporting me, who is of course expecting a vision from me. But at the end, I really feel engaged in the decisions we are making at the company, and I also feel empowered to be a partner and provide my expertise to my leadership. So absolutely.
It's very nice that you're also treated as an equal partner. That's very important. And on the days that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with yourself, what are your tricks to appear confident?
Mm, that's a very good question, because we all have better or worse days, right? So for me, I always try to reflect on what I achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm just listing down all the things I have done, right? And then, I'm realizing that actually I did quite a lot, right? We all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect, but at the end this helps me to reflect that I should be a little bit more confident about myself, because things are moving forward and I'm achieving what is expected, and it gives me a really satisfaction.
Exactly. I think it's very important that whenever we make mistakes, we always learn from them, we build
Exactly.
from them. So it's very good. I also saw that your company released a press release on International Women's Day that uh, basically raising awareness to the importance of diversity at a leadership level as well as across the organization. Could you please tell me a little bit more about that?
No, absolutely. So yes, that's something what Coty has taken as a strategy.
Mhm.
So we are really putting a lot of effort on the diversity, on the inclusion, right? To make sure that there is equality in gender, right, in the leadership teams.
Mhm.
And this is something what has really changed since I have joined the company, and you can really feel it, right?
Mhm.
It's not just the fact that we are talking about it. You can really feel in our company that it doesn't matter which gender you are, how old you are, what you do, right? How do you
Mhm.
look like? It just doesn't matter, right? For us, what matters is that everybody can be themselves. We are working together as a team, and we want to make sure that everyone feels respected. So I can
Yes.
say that it really works in reality.
And as we're getting towards the end of the interview, I would like to ask you one of my final questions. So, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
It was so long time ago, but I think I would give myself two advices.
Mhm.
Advice number one would be remember about yourself, because
Mhm.
women always have the tendency to please everybody around, right? To please the family, to please company, to please friends, everybody, but they forget about themselves,
Mhm.
right? And this is something what also happened to me in the past. So I was trying to make sure everybody around me is happy, and at the end I just forgotten about me. And that's number one. And number two, advice I would give to myself is don't forget to dream, right? Because sky is only the limit. Of course, it comes with hard work and dedication, but it's just important to understand that there are really no limits, and you can really achieve a lot
Yes.
if you just open yourself to dream and to also work on your goals.
Hmm. I absolutely agree with that. I think the limit is the sky as well, and anything is possible as long
Exactly.
as you put your head and heart to it. Thank you very much. And my final question would be, what hopes or dreams or goals do you have in your personal and professional life for the next 5 years?
So, personally, I just want to make sure me and my family we are healthy, right? Because
Mhm.
also in the COVID situation and everything what is happening around me, the most important is to be really healthy. If you are healthy, you can achieve everything. So that's
Yes.
one of my personal goals, I would say. And professionally, I just would like to make sure, and that's my goal for the next years, that me and my team we still keep empowered, we feel engaged, and
Mhm.
we are able to change the world.
Oh, thank you very much for that one. Thank you very much for joining me today for the interview. I really enjoyed it. I hope you also had fun, and
Yes,
I'm looking forward to share it with the rest of the world. Thank you very much, Aneta.
thanks so much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.